Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Fred, and today I'm going to be talking about tangents and tangency. Now, have you ever wondered, have you ever imagined constructing stuff like this, like a spanner, okay, like these parts of machines, okay? They look complex, isn't it? All right, stuff like this, like these ones here, okay? Have you ever wondered or want to construct any of these? The plan of a swimming pool, you know, and so on and so forth. Okay, we have so many of them. Now, you would need a foundational knowledge, which is tangents and tangency. Okay. Now, we're not going to be treating any of these examples in this video. What I'm going to do is to show you the principle of tangency, okay, that you are going to apply to drawing some of these drawings you're looking at right now, which we are going to treat much more later in other videos. All right. So, but in order for you to be able to do this, they look complex, quite complex, but the truth is they actually are not really difficult drawings. Okay, if you pay attention to the basics, you know, some people want to skip the basic and just move over to the complex. Okay, no, it doesn't work that way. You have to learn, you have to understand the foundation of everything before you gradually, you know, make your way up to the complex. All right. Okay, so I'm going to show you a few stuff. Okay, so a tangent is a line, all right, that is touching a point at the circumference of a circle, and it's also forming an angle of 90 degrees, okay, with the normal. All right. So if, for example, you have a circle, you have a circle like this, all right, and you have a line. This is just, I'm just roughly doing this now, okay, that is going, just touching a point on the circumference of the circle, and any other line that is drawn from the center to that circumference. Now, this is not construction, this is just explanation. If this line forms an angle of 90 degrees, okay, this line you see is called what? A tangent. Okay, this line is called a tangent, while this one you see here, so let me call this B and I call this A, while this AB is called a normal. Okay, now the normal is the same thing as the radius of the circle. Okay, so the reason why it is called a normal is because it forms an angle of what? 90 degree with what? The line that is touching what? The circumference of the circle, called what? A tangent. So remember, a tangent, let me draw another line. This is not a tangent. Okay, why? Because it is not touching a point on the circumference of the circle. All right, so this is not a tangent. So that is just to explain the definition of a tangent. Now I'm going to show you how to draw a tangent to a circle. Okay, different types of tangent to a circle. Also, we're also going to be looking at internal tangents and external tangents. We're going to be looking at internal arcs to two circles and external arcs to two circles. So let me start from the basics. Okay, I want to draw a circle and I want to use a radius of 3 centimeters. Okay, for the circle. Now this is the circle. Now if you have a circle like this, okay, this is the center of the circle. Now you have a point just anywhere on the circumference. Let me just put a point anywhere. Let me call this point here B, and let me call this center here A. Now I want to draw a tangent to this point on this circle. So how do I do that? Do I just bring my ruler and just draw a line through it? No, it is wrong. You are not constructing a tangent. All right, and that is not a tangent. So how do you go about it? The first thing is connect the center of the circle. The center of the circle with the point on the circumference of the circle with a thin line like this. Okay, any length of your choice. Now use the same radius of the circle. Remember, the radius we use here in this case is 3 centimeters. All right, so use this radius of the circle, needle on this point B. All right, and cut this other side of the extended line here. So let's call this point C. So now we have line AC. Now what you're going to do now is bisect line AC. And you know how to bisect a line. You needle at one end of the line, stretch beyond half of the line, all right, Just stretch beyond stretch beyond half of the line, or stretch equal to the length of the line, whichever one you want, but beyond half. All right. Draw an arc on the top, arc on the bottom, with same radius. Don't change it. You needle on A now. Cut the arc on the top and cut the arc on the bottom. They will intersect. Now connect these 2 points of intersection, point number 1 and point number 2. Okay, it will go through this point B. Okay, you draw a thick line. Now this line here is what? A tangent to a circle. Now this is a case whereby you have a circle that is existing and you have a point on the circumference of the circle and you have to draw a tangent to it. So this is how to go about drawing the tangent. Now let's have another case. In this case, let me still stay on 3 centimeter radius. Okay, so this is a circle. All right, sorry about that. Okay, good. Now here is another point. The point is just anywhere. Just locate a point anywhere. Call this point P. Now you want to draw a tangent to this circle from this point P. How do you go about that? Do you just place your ruler on the point P and align it to the circle and draw a line? No, that is not construction. All right, that's you just doing guessing games. All right, so what you do is simple. Connect again. Let's call the center O. Connect the center of the circle with the point P, with a thin line. Once you're done doing that, the next thing is bisect the line OP. And you know how to bisect a line. You needle on this point here, stretch more than half of the line. Okay, draw an arc up, draw an arc down with same radius. You needle on O, center of the circle, the other point of the line. Draw an arc here, cutting that arc and cut this arc. Sorry, that was a mistake. And cut this arc. All right, so now connect the point of intersections. All right, now it will give you a center. Let's call the center C. Now the distance from O to C is the same as the distance from C to P. You have bisected this line CP. Now needle on the point C and stretch to the center O. Now if it is touching the center O, it should also touch P, because it has been the line CP OP has been bisected. Now draw an arc through the center from the center. All right, now take note of this point G, where this arc is cutting the circle. Now connect point P and point G. That is the tangent with a thick line. So a line drawn from P through the point G is tangential to what? To this circle. And if you draw a line from this point to the point G here, you discover that it is a normal. Why? Because it will be forming an angle of 90 degrees. Now this is how to draw a tangent from a point that is existing outside the circle to touch the circle. Now point number 3 is I want to explain internal and external tangents. All right, now if you have two circles, let's say equal circles, this is circle number 1 and this is circle number 2. All right, these two circles, they are equal in diameter. Now a line that is passing through the circumference of both circles like this is called an external tangent. External tangent. Now if you have two circles, equal circles like this, again, when I say equal circle, I mean the radius of both circles or the diameter, they are the same. Now if you have a line going through the circle in this form, notice that it's different from this one. This type of tangent is called internal tangent. Do you understand? Now let us have internal tangent and external tangent for two unequal circles. So for two unequal circles, is a big circle, and this is a small circle. You have an internal tangent going through, an external tangent going through it like this. So this tangent is touching these two circles of different radius, externally. So this is an external tangent to both circles. Then let us have a repetition of that, a bigger circle and a smaller one, where you have a line drawn in this form going through it like this. It's called what? And what? Internal tangent. So this one is external. External tangent to two unequal circles, internal tangent to two unequal circles. Internal tangent to two equal circles, external tangent to two equal circles. Now I'm going to be explaining how to construct each of these, okay? The step-by-step method of achieving these goals. All right. Okay, so let us draw an external tangent to two equal circles. Now we're going to be using these parameters. Now let me use the distance 100. Distance between centers of circle 100. All right, so I'm going to be using these parameters throughout. Now for two equal circles, that means both radius are what? Both radii are 30. So these two equal circles, the radii will be what? 30 30. For smaller circles we'll be using this, but we're not using smaller circle for now for this example. Remember, the distance between the center is what? 100. So this is very simple. As a matter of fact, it's one of the simplest construction. So measure the radius 30, measure 30 on your ruler. Once you're done with that, draw a circle. Number 1. Apologies. Okay, this is circle number 1. All right, so draw a line through the center of the circle and extend it. So this is what? A line through the center of the circle. Thin line. Just extend to any point of your choice. Now what is the distance between the centers of the circle? Is 100. So from this distance, measure 100. Remember, not from here, but from the center here. So align your ruler 0 here and measure what? 100. This is 100. All right, or 10. That's 10 centimeters. Now at this point, with same radius 3 centimeters, needle here and draw another circle. You know, they are both same. All right, so I have two circles here. So how do I draw an external tangent to these two circles? Very simple. Just label here A, label here B, C, and D. So we'll call this center O1, center O2. All right, good. Now bisect line AB, and you know how to do that. Needle on B, stretch more than half of the what? Line AB. All right, draw an arc on the top, on the bottom. You needle on what? A. Cut this arc and cut this arc. All right, do the same thing for this side. They are the same, so you needle on D, stretch more than half of the what? Line CD, an arc on the top, an arc down. You needle on C, cut the arc, and you cut this arc. All right, so connect both points of intersection through the center of the circle like this, thin lines, like this, thin lines. Now you discover that, let me call here YZ. I'm talking about this point and this point, right? Now align your ruler where the line is intersecting the circles and draw a thick line. Now this is the tangent to two what? Two equal circles. This is how to construct it. All right, so the next we are going to be looking at is, this is an external, let me be very, very clear here, external tangent. External tangent to two equal circles. Now let us draw what? Using the same what? What's it called now? Using the same dimensions. The distance 100, the radius 30. Let's now draw what? An internal tangent to two equal circles. So I'm going to reproduce what I just did here now again. So here it is. First circle, second circle, I've already labeled it. So I drew this line. So the distance between the center of the circle, don't forget, is 100, while the radius of the circle is what? 30. All right. Now remember, these dimensions can vary for any question. All right. So how do I draw an what? Internal tangent to this? Very, very simple. First of all, bisect the line O1, O2. Focus. O1, O2 is a line. So I want to bisect this line. All right, this line. So you need to here stretch more than half of the line. All right, somewhere there. All right, draw an arc on the top. You draw an arc on the bottom. Hope you can see that clearly. Then needle on O1. Remember, I drew the first one from center O2. So you say radius, don't alter it. Needle here, cut this arc on the top and cut this arc on the bottom. I'm so sorry about that. Sorry about these mistakes here, okay? All right, so bisect, draw your perpendicular bisector, connect this point with a thin line, okay? Let me call this point here F. All right, remember this is the center of the circle. Now, very simple. What you do next is, let me erase this arc, it's too long, is now bisect O1F. O1F is a line, bisect it. So how do you go about that? You needle on F, stretch more than half of what? O1F, right? So you draw an arc on the top, you draw an arc on the bottom, you needle on what? O. Cut the arc on the top and cut the arc on the bottom and connect this point of intersections together with a thin line. All right, hope you are following. Then next is, since you have bisected line O1F, that means this is the center of the line here. Okay, so needle on the center here. All right, stretch to O1. Now if it is touching O1, it must also touch F. All right, so draw an arc from the center here. So draw an arc to F. Now what do you notice? You discover that this arc will cut this circle at this point here. All right, so connect, draw a thin line from here to this point. Now let's call this point here X. So I'm going to draw, don't confuse this arc, sorry about that. Okay, I'm talking about this arc here. Okay, it's none of your business, it's for this perpendicular line. So connect here with the center. So this is OX. Now this is one point of what? Of the tangent. This is one point. Now how can I locate this point here now, X? How can I locate it on this side of the circle? It's very simple. It's either you repeat this whole process here by what? Bisecting this what? Line FO. Wherever you have your perpendicular bisector, all right, you now needle on the center and you draw an arc and it will cut. But that is a long process. There is a short and faster method of doing that. Okay, how you go about it is just transfer this line. Notice from center to circumference. Transfer this line to this center also, to the circumference. So you align your set square like this. Align your set square with this line. Support with your ruler, all right, and transfer to the center of this circle here, and draw a line. So if I'm calling here X, let me call here Y. So you see these 2 points, point Y and point X. If I connect them with what? Both points with a line. That line is an internal tangent to two equal circles. So this is an internal tangent. To two equal circles. Now we've settled for what? This. We've settled out external tangent to two equal circles, internal tangent to two equal circles. Now let's deal with external tangent to two unequal circles and internal tangent to two unequal circles. All right, so we're going to use the same, we're going to use this parameter now. For the bigger circle, we use 30. So you stretch 30. This is my 30 here. And describe a circle. All right. Connect the center and extend out. So this line is going through the center and I'm extending out, right? Now remember the distance again. Now remember these parameters can change for any questions, you understand? But we're just using this as what a standard for all our examples. Now we measure 100 from this center to the center of the other circle. So 100 is our 10 centimeters here. So that becomes the center of for the next circle. Now what is the radius of the circle number 2? Remember this is on equal circles. Is 15. That is 1.5. So I'm going to needle and stretch just 1.5 on the dots. So here I have 1.5. Needle here and draw the other circle. Okay, so let me call this center 1, O1 and center O2. Now remember the radius of this circle is what? 15. While the radius of this circle is what? 30. Don't forget that. All right. Now, what do you do next? So what we're going to do next is we're going to bisect the line O1, O2. All right? Here, this line O1, O2. We're going to bisect it. So you needle here. Stretch more than half of the line. Draw an arc up and arc down. Using same radius, needle on O1. Cut the arc and cut this arc. Then connect both points of intersections with a thin line and you have that. Now, here is the rule. Listen to this rule. When you are drawing internal, okay, what we're dealing with now is, external. When you're dealing with external tangency, external tangents, okay, with two unequal circles, what you do is you subtract. Then we are dealing with internal tangents to two unequal circles. You what? You add. So this is actually the radius. Subtract the radius of one from the other one. But for internal, you add the radius of one to the other one. I hope that's clear. So now the question is, what's the radius of this circle? Is 30. What is the radius of this other circle here? Is 15. So because we are drawing an external tangent, we are going to subtract. So 30 minus 15 is what? Is 15. Don't forget that. So what I'm going to do is that I will stretch 15 on my pair of compass. That's 1.5. All right. Then I will needle on the bigger circle here and draw a circle. Remember how I got this circle was I subtracted the radius, the smaller radius, from the bigger one, and I got 15, and I needled it and I drew it. All right. So what do we do next? Now remember I skipped a particular step. Now after bisecting this line O1, O2, please draw an arc. Needle at the center here, stretch to O1. All right. If it is touching O1, it must also touch O2. Okay, now draw an arc. Like that. Now, let us call this point here F. All right. Now, what you're going to do is you are going to draw a line from O, this point, through F, where this arc is intersecting this circle here with a ruler. So you align your ruler, you connect F and what? O1 with a straight line, thin line. Now you will discover that this line, let's call this point here G, is moving from O through this point of intersection of this circle and arc F, and it's touching this other bigger circle at this point G. So what you do next is you have gotten one of the points where the tangent will go through. All right. Now, how do I look for the corresponding point here on the circle? So, like you did for the first one, you transfer like this. So, align your set square with the line O1G. All right. Align, support with your ruler, then transfer it to the center of the other circle, this circle here. I hope you can see that clearly. And from the center here, draw a line to also touch here. So call this point here H. Now this is point H and this is point G. Now connect point H and G with a thick straight line. And that gives you what? An external what? Tangent to what? Two unequal circles. I hope that is clear. Now the last one we're going to treat is internal tangent. Okay, so let's now draw an internal tangent to two unequal circles. So this time around, I made some changes. I don't want us to get used to a particular dimension alone. So this time for the radius of the big arrow is 40, small arrow is 20, and the distance between the circle is what? 120. So measure 40 on your ruler. That's 40. And describe the first circle. Okay. Now with your ruler, connect the center, draw the diameter and extend. So draw a diameter through the center of the circle and extend. All right. So what you do next is, you remember the distance this time around is what? 120. So from the center, let's call the center O1 again. Measure what? 120. That is 12. So this is 12 here. So at this point 12, that is where you will now draw the second circle, which has the radius of what? 20. So you measure 20 on your ruler. So this is 20. Ensure you measure correctly. So you needle here at this center here where you measured 120, then you describe, sorry about that, describe the other circle. There's something wrong with my pair of compass, but not to worry. All right, so you describe the other circle. All right, so what you do next is, once again, this is O2. Remember the radius of this circle is what? 20, while the radius of this circle is what? 40. Don't forget that. Now, again, bisect O1, O2. So you needle on O1, stretch more than half of O1, O2 line, okay? Draw an arc up, arc down. With same radius, you needle on O1, cut the arc up, and cut the arc down. Connect both of them. Draw the perpendicular bisector, like this. Now it will cut the circle at, let me call this place F. All right, good. Now needle on F, stretch to O1, stretch to O1. If it is touching O1, it should also touch O2. So draw an arc like this. All right, so when you're done doing that, now remember, what is the rule for internal and external to two unequal? Remember, it has to be unequal circles. Now I told you that for external arc, you what? You subtract. For internal, you what? You add. So we subtracted for external, but this time around we are drawing internal arc, so we have to subtract. Sorry, we have to add. Internal, you add. So 40 plus 20 will be what? Will be 60, right? So that is 60. So stretch 60 on your pair of compass. So this is 60. All right? This is 60. Now needle on this center of the big circle, center of the big circle, and cut this arc that you have drawn. Okay, just cut the arc. Now I call this point G. All right, now once again connect the center to the point G. Now call this point H. I'm talking about this point, not this one. Where this straight line is what cutting this bigger circle is called H. Remember, I connected this center to where this arc is cutting this other arc here at this point G. All right, now you see this line O1H. This point here is the first point of the tangent, the internal tangent. Now how do we get the other point here on this smaller circle? We do the same thing with transfer. Okay, so just align again your set square with this line OG. Support with your ruler and move to the center of this circle here and draw a line to touch the circumference of this circle. So I can call, let me call here I, this point here I. Now connect this point H with I with a thick line, and what you have there is what? An internal what? Tangent to two unequal circles. So this is how to go about it. Now it's already 31 minutes on the video. I would like to stop here. Now this is the part 1 of this video. In the part 2 I'm going to talk about how to draw arcs, okay, internal arcs and external arcs, then how to connect two straight lines with what? An arc, and lines at 90 degrees, lines at obtuse angle and what? Acute angles. All right, so that's what the next upload is going to be all about. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to this channel, and also recommend for anyone you think might need these lessons. Thank you and have a nice day.